In this week's Blizz Pro Weekly, BlizzCon contestants are announced, Warcraft PTR raid testing is happening, Heroes of the Dorm makes eSports history, and Blackrock Mountain comes to a close in Hearthstone. Which boss was your favorite? Hey everybody, welcome to the newest episode of Blizz Pro Weekly. Now as always, I am your host, Chris the Beard Arnone. If you notice, once again, we have a new shirt. That's because we still have our little deal going on. If you go to gear.blizzard.com, you can buy your own shirt, get 10% off by using the coupon code BlizzPro at checkout. And you got to check this out, right? Yeah? That's pretty cool, right? And once again, to reiterate, we make no money from this. It's just to help you out with the little code. And that store will reopen, by the way, on May 6th. Now let's talk a little bit about BlizzCon. So BlizzCon is still a solid 6 months away, but if you're the kind of person who's all into costumes or talent, then start getting ready. Blizzard announced this week that the costume contest, talent contest, art contest, and movie contest will be happening again this year. Now, sign-ups for these contests will be starting up in the next few weeks, so if you're interested in participating in any of these, you better start planning and keep an eye out for when those go live. Now let's talk some World of Warcraft.
Here's the beef.
So Warcraft news this week has been dominated by the 6.2 PTR, with the zone preview of Tanaan Jungle released on Friday and raid testing throughout the week. Now testing so far has been limited to 3 of the 13 bosses in Hellfire Citadel: the Iron Reaver, Kilrogg Deadeye, and Gore Fiend. Now reactions have been pretty positive for 2 of the fights and leaning a little more toward negative on the 3rd. Now, the Iron Reaver reminds us that fire is bad, as well as testing situational awareness. The encounter will tax your ability to move, survive telegraph attacks, and, did we mention move? It looks to be a highly mobile encounter with burst requirements. Now, if you have a thing about guts, intestines, and sort of the stomach region, probably best not to tackle Gore Fiend at this point. This monstrosity is what became of Teron Gore after he threw himself into the depths of Alkindun. And, interesting mechanic is that death in the fight isn't permanent. Dead players' souls will be consumed and sucked into the boss's stomach. Now, the name of the game in here is to add control, killing, or healing adds so that the rest of the raid doesn't get overwhelmed. The mechanic harkens back to Kalekgos in Sunwell Plateau, and Sulong in the Terrace of Endless Spring. If I pronounced that other one wrong, just blame JR. Kilrogg, by most accounts, has been a disappointment. The encounter mostly focuses on ad management, with little time spent actually hitting the boss. Still, it looks like a frenetic fight, especially the interesting end of the world phase, where a group gets sucked into Kilrogg's eye socket. That will tax players with some tuning. Other big news is the release of the WoW token in Europe, which has certainly been well received. In fact, it's a seller's market right now, with tokens selling for between 29,000 gold and 47,000 gold. And the market is going through peaks and valleys right now. Peaks are in sort of mid-morning time, valleys in the late evening and early morning. Now, the token continues to be significantly less expensive in the US, where, according to WoWtoken.info, the highest prices barely touch the lowest European prices. The average sale time in both regions is fairly close. It's about 4 hours. While in China, where the token was only recently launched, we're talking a 43-minute turnaround time as of the time of this writing. Now, prices in the region are much higher as well, bottoming out at 51,000 gold and climbing as high as 73,000 gold. Now, several factors could be the cause. Chinese players are used to paying for game time in different ways. Like WoW access is charged by the hour on Chinese servers, the low value of China's currency, or simply the fact that it's just a different culture. So that's all of our World of Warcraft news. Let's talk a little Heroes of the Storm. So we talked about this a little bit last week, but now we have a winner in Heroes of the Dorm. Now, Cal Berkeley was about to beat Arizona State University in a best-of-5 series to win 3-2. The games themselves were nail-biting. It came down to the final game, and both teams went back and forth before Cal Berkeley pulled off an amazing comeback to seal the finals. Now, the big news, though, wasn't the games themselves, but the fact that it was happening during prime time on a Sunday night on ESPN2. Social media was exploding. You had to have lived under a rock on Twitter to have not noticed. People were wondering why they were seeing video games on a sports channel. Several sports journalists were commenting how impressed they were with the forecasters and how much they were just really, really into it. Of course, on the flip side, you had people bitching and moaning about video games being on their television, and at least one radio journalist complaining the day after about how nerds need to be locked in their basements, and if he ever has to report on one of these events, that he'll quit. To which I say, sayonara, fucker, welcome to the future. So pretty much the reactions were what you would expect from both sides of the fence. Now, whether the old folks in TV are grumpy that there is a new sport in town, it doesn't beat the fact that Heroes of the Dorm made eSports history with their broadcast. And it sounds like we can expect more of these events in the future with ESPN. Now, it's expected about 150,000 people watch the grand finals of Heroes of the Dorm. And considering it was only broadcast in the USA instead of worldwide, it's a pretty solid number. On top of that is you have a tournament that was not made up of pro players, but just some amateur college students playing for their schools. So that number's pretty close to what you would see with League of Legends or Dota 2 on Twitch. What did you think of the event? Did you watch it? Do you think this is something you would like to see more of in the future? Let us know in the comments, and let's talk Hearthstone.
Pull up a chair by the hearth.
So in case you didn't notice, April has ended, May is here, and with that we have a new card back that you're going to get this month. If you finish rank 20 or higher by the end of May, then you'll be rewarded with the newly revealed Ninja card back. Now personally, we're hoping to see more of these ninja themes in Hearthstone, and maybe this card back is a sign of things to come. Now also, the end of Blackrock Mountain is here. The 5th and final wing has finally opened, and all of the cards in Blackrock Mountain can be earned. Now, with the end of this week, we're expecting to start seeing some crazy dragon decks. So far, it looks like Paladin and Priest are leading the charge for these particular decks. So now the Blackrock Mountain has come to an end. What has been your favorite wing and boss so far? What are you looking forward to for Blizzard announcing next in Hearthstone? Do you think we'll get something before BlizzCon? Do you think we might have to wait another 6 or 7 months before we get new cards released? Let us know in the comments, as always. Well, that does it for Hearthstone and our show. Subscribe right here on YouTube, iTunes. Give us a thumbs up if you like the show. Give us a good rating on iTunes if you like the show. BlizzPro TV. You want to listen and subscribe to all of our shows. We have the West March Workshop, the Hearthstone Power Hour, the Heroes Power Hour, and Real Life Respec. Me, I'm all over the internet. I'm on Twitter, Facebook. I'm a Goodreads author. My book, The Lost and Broken Realm, is available pretty much everywhere online. I'm also a contributor for BookRiot.com and Panels.net. Now, if you have a question, shoot us an email at askthebeard@blizzpro.com. And of course, you want to check out blizzpro.com. It's got all the news, reviews, interviews, everything you need to know about Blizzard Entertainment games. Stay beardy, my friends.